Shakespeare, theater, the love and affection from my parents, top 10 moments from history that seem staged. Hey, wait a minute. Number 10, flat earth. Alright folks, let's just get it out of the way here. There's no such thing as a flat earth. Say it with me. There is no such thing as a flat earth. Never has, never will. Those that wish to ignore factual proven evidence of such, well, I salute you. That's the same kind of stubbornness that keeps old marriages still alive. No, my keys are not on the key hook. They're where I left them, in the dish by the kitchen. That's where they always go. They're probably on the key hook. All stale marriage jokes aside, the flat earth community has been busy. Say what you will about them, but they are not lazy. Years of experiments, research, and conventions with awkward handshakes have concluded one result. Earth is not round. I'd like to come out here today and tell you folks all about the models and theories presented to you by the flat earth community, but all you need to know is that Earth's flat, the government is watching you, and I wear women's underwear. Two of those things are true, and one is a fib. See if you can figure it out. Number 9, the Battle of Tonkin. In the 1960s, there was a little old country in the little old East causing a whole heap of trouble. Vietnam was about to turn red, and not the kind of red you feel when your crush asks you to homecoming. But the kind of red that makes luxuries hard to come by, and lineups for bread and ration, comrade. The United States, not wanting any more communist countries on the map, decided action was needed and parked a whole bunch of spooky, scary Navy ships in the Tonkin Bay. That's close to Vietnam. That's when they were fired upon. So, like a good game of Hasbro's Battleship, they fired back. And shortly after that, the war in Vietnam had started. Ooh, okay, spicy. Trouble is, the Tonkin Bay incident was very fishy from the start, as a lot of the reports just didn't line up. For a while, it seemed staged, and years later, it kinda was, as the situation wasn't as black and white as originally presented. It was more of a gray thing, and they might have used it as an scapegoat to go and do what they did. Uh-oh. Number 8, small fry Japan versus Russia. The turn of the century was an interesting time to say the least. Spent enough time on it in history class, always did my history homework, but nations were becoming free, factories and black smoke from industry filled the skies, and the idea of having roads filled with cars instead of horses was becoming more of a reality instead of a dream each day. However, some were still behind the times and some were still flexing imperial muscles. Take Russia and Japan in 1905 for instance. Japan, a brand new industrialized modern country, was expanding westward. Russia, an old imperial power that had not modernized, was expanding eastward. They met not too far from Korea. Now, tensions were high, but it wasn't until a Japanese train carrying supplies was destroyed that a war broke out. The thing is, the train maybe sort of kind of could have been a scapegoat by the Japanese to start a war. I'm not sure, it could have been, I don't know. Number 7, World War II. Imagine you were a farmer in France after losing your livelihood in the battles of World War I. Your fields were destroyed, the barn's gone, the land is tainted by the horrors and disease of the war. Then, after 20 years of long and hard work bringing your farm back to life, it all gets destroyed again in a second global war. That would be 10 times as destructive as the first. Oof. Sounds like someone's out to get you. Well, all jokes aside and actual battles aside, World War II is full of fishy events that are very sus and make you squint when hearing about certain information. Like for example, leading German scientists mysteriously disappearing and America very quickly developing a rocket program thereafter. Or like top German scientists taking vacation photos on a beautiful beach in Sao Paulo. Some things just don't add up. Strange. Number 6, Roy Sullivan. The Human Lightning Rod. Heck of a nickname. Wish that was my nickname in high school, but well earned. Roy Sullivan was a park ranger in Virginia and spent his time in the same river John Denver likes to sing about. What makes Roy different from every other park ranger who spends too much time alone? Lightning. Between the years of 1942 and 1977, Roy was struck by lightning 7 times and survived all of them. It got to the point where people wanted to avoid him in fear that they too would be crisped up like someone who's too good at Mario Kart from a lightning bolt. He's recognized by Guinness World Records as being struck by lightning 7 times and surviving 7 times. Pretty impressive. I don't have any Guinness records. I wish I did. Number 5, Kennedy. The assassination of JFK was an instant conspiracy theorist dream come true. And a national tragedy. Yeah, it was. From Lee Harvey Oswald, the Blam Blam, the Trajectory, and Jack Ruby, it's just a really strange story. And everyone was blamed from the grassy knoll to Soviet sleeper agents, or it could have just been a nut job. No one's really 200% sure. What am I getting at with this? Well, it's all fishy, and for some it felt staged from the start, especially if you understand the connection between the Kennedy family and La Cosa Nostra. The Irishman movie actually explains a lot of this. I would highly recommend that movie, but it could be related back to the associates of a Russell Buffalino, a known organized crime king and racketeering magnate. Regardless, it'll always feel weird and staged. Just strange. Number 4, Sputnik. The space race. What a time to be alive. It truly must have been something to see. For those that don't know, the space race refers to a time during the Cold War when America and the Soviet Union were dumping millions of dollars and hours to see who could dominate space. America being presented as the country with the technological advantage, and honestly, it wasn't propaganda at that time, they truly did have the advantage, were visibly shocked when the USSR had launched the first satellite into space. Before this, there were a few things here and there, the first rocket, the first dog, the first man. While the first cosmonaut was concerning for Americans, it was the launching of Sputnik 1 that was the scariest, as it seemed the Soviet Union may actually have the upper hand. It kicked the space race into overdrive. But surely nations wouldn't compete on such a science fair level, right? No way. Seems kinda sus. No. Number 3, Elvis Presley. Look, this makes a lot of sense when you think about it. Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll and the gyrating hips. Oh baby. He came to fame in the early to mid 1950s and broke records instantly. In a sense, he was the first celebrity that we idolize, or at least the way we idolize celebrities today. Elvis couldn't really do anything without the paparazzi following him or fans screaming and shouting his name the second the man made an appearance. Years of rocking, partying, and fried peanut butter banana bacon sandwiches caught up with the king, as he looked closer to me in leather suits than Adam would. It was kind of a weird look. He passed away on August 16th, 1977, and well, it does seem kind of strange that the king would leave the building like that. There's even some reports of him showing up later in life in disguises. So perhaps maybe he didn't, or did live or die. We'll never know. Number 2, the Roswell Incident. Roswell, New Mexico, 1947. A mysterious UFO makes a crash landing in the New Mexican desert. Military and government officials are quick to clean up the mess and haul the wreckage to Area 51, or so the story goes. It wasn't long before folks started claiming it was little green men from outer space, and given the scientific and militaristic weird testing that actually happened in the deserts back then, well, it kinda adds up. However, the US government has since declassified the event as a weather balloon crashing. People like to think it's still aliens, but what if it was staged? Hear me out here. Meaning, what if they crashed a weather balloon to make you think it was an alien, and something like that actually happened elsewhere? A classic illusion, or distraction, if you will. And number 1, any alien abduction. They all feel staged to me. Every once in a while you scroll through some TV stations, assuming this is a few years ago when you still have cable, and you'd see a guy with a weird haircut talking about ancient aliens building pyramids. History Channel can be weird sometimes. You may also come across real life encounters of folks who swear they've encountered aliens and were abducted. To me, it sounds like a lot of people want their 15 minutes of fame and perhaps inflated stories for the sake of good television. To me, it's strange a bunch of rural Americans getting abducted and perhaps receiving probes where the sun don't shine. There's a lot of that going on. It's a little weird. I was abducted by aliens. They took me out of my pickup truck. It was strange. There were lights everywhere and someone touched my buttocks. That's gonna wrap it up for me today, guys. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe here at Bumblebee. And if you too want to get abducted by aliens, then check out my socials somewhere down below. I stream sometimes. It's fun. I'm a funny guy sometimes. What do you want? I love you guys so much, and I'll see you soon. Stay sweet, my little honeybees.